All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into Hyundai's wild vision for the future of transportation.
And wild it is.
They really stole the show at CES 2025, and it wasn't just about, rolling out some shiny new concept cars.
Not at all.
They're talking about completely changing how we think about moving around, especially in cities.
Right, exactly.
And they're focusing on three main areas that are pretty mind-blowing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Modular vehicle platforms, AI-driven personalization,
Yes.
full integration with smart cities.
It's a whole new approach.
Yeah, so if you've ever dreamed of a car that basically morphs to fit your needs, or seamlessly navigates a city that's wired to anticipate your every move, well,
You're going to love this.
you're the right place. So
Yeah, let's break it down.
let's start with these modular vehicle platforms.
Okay.
It sounds kind of like something out of a sci-fi movie, but what's the basic idea?
Well, imagine a car built like a giant Lego set, right? The chassis is the base, and then you can add or swap out different modules depending on what you need.
So if I need to haul a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. You just pop in a cargo module.
Oh, okay.
Taking the family on a road trip,
Oh.
switch to a passenger module.
Wait, so you're telling me I could reconfigure my car on the fly?
That's the vision.
Need more space for groceries, swap out the back seats,
Yeah.
heading to a big meeting, transform the car into a mobile office.
Precisely. It's a radical shift from how cars are designed now, where you're basically stuck with what you get.
That's amazing.
This modular approach could even lead to a sharing economy for car parts, where you subscribe to different features as you need them.
Wow, that's a really interesting idea.
It could make cars much more accessible, too.
Oh, now you're talking. How would that work with accessibility?
Well, imagine someone needs a wheelchair-accessible vehicle, right?
Yeah.
With these modular platforms, they wouldn't need to buy a whole separate specialized car.
Oh,
They could just swap in a wheelchair-accessible module when they needed it.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's so much more affordable, too, I imagine.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
But how does AI fit into all of this? You mentioned AI-driven personalization. What does that even look like in a car?
So picture this. You get into your car, and it already knows
Okay.
your favorite seat position, the temperature you like, and even starts playing your favorite playlist.
That's cool.
But it goes way beyond just comfort settings.
Really?
Hyundai envisions AI that actually learns your driving habits.
Wow.
And adjusts the car's performance to match your style.
So the car becomes like a driving partner almost.
Exactly. It's constantly learning and adapting to you.
That's incredible, and a little creepy, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
But I guess we're already giving up a lot of privacy with our phones and stuff.
it's true. There are definitely privacy concerns to consider as this technology develops.
For sure, for sure. Okay, so we've got these shape-shifting cars that are basically extensions of our brains. What are the cities themselves?
Right. That's where urban integration comes in, and this is where it gets really mind-blowing.
Okay, lay it on me.
Think about cars that can actually communicate with the city.
Like navigating traffic and finding parking spots automatically.
That's just the beginning. Hyundai is talking about vehicles that become part of the city's nervous system. Imagine your car communicating with traffic lights to optimize traffic flow,
Oh.
or syncing up with public transportation schedules to give you a totally seamless travel experience.
So my car is basically talking to the city and figuring out the best way to get me where I need to go.
Precisely. Your car becomes just one node in this giant interconnected transportation network.
That would be so cool. Especially if it means I never have to circle the block looking for parking again.
Exactly. No more parking nightmares.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. But what about people who use public transportation? How do they fit into all of this?
Well, that's the beauty of seamless integration.
Okay.
Hyundai's vision is all about creating a truly multimodal transportation system. Imagine your car drops you off at the nearest subway station and then parks itself.
Oh, that's cool.
You continue your journey on public transit, and it's all planned out for you.
So it's not just about cars. It's about connecting all the different ways we move around.
Exactly. It's about creating a system that works for everyone.
This is amazing.
Right.
We're talking modular platforms, AI driving buddies, and cities that are like giant transportation brains. This is next level stuff.
It really is. Hyundai is painting a picture of a future where transportation is adaptable, efficient, and totally personalized.
It's exciting, but it also makes me wonder, what are the bigger implications of all this? How would these advancements change how we live, work, and even interact with our cities?
That's a great question, and it takes us to the heart of what makes Hyundai's vision so revolutionary. They're really challenging our whole idea of what a car is and how it fits into our lives.
Yeah, it's a pretty big departure from the way we think about cars now.
It's not just about making cars better or faster or, adding a few bells and whistles.
Right.
It's about completely rethinking the relationship between people, vehicles, and cities.
So it's more like a fundamental shift in thinking.
Exactly. It's a paradigm shift.
Okay, but how is their approach different from what other car companies are doing? I mean, everyone's talking about electric vehicles and self-driving cars.
Well, a lot of other manufacturers are still focused on making cars better, faster, more luxurious.
Yeah, that's the usual playbook.
But Hyundai is asking a different question.
What's that?
What if we made cars that can be anything you need them to be?
That's a pretty ambitious goal.
It is, but that's what these modular platforms are all about.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How does that actually work in the real world?
Most companies are still designing cars for very specific purposes.
Like a sedan's a sedan, a truck's a truck.
Right, but Hyundai is creating a system where the car's function can evolve as your needs change.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's like they're designing a system for designing cars almost like a transportation operating system.
That's a great analogy because, in the tech world, software updates can completely change what a device can do.
Right, exactly. And that they're bringing that kind of thinking to the auto industry.
It makes you wonder if we'll be downloading car updates like we download phone apps.
And it's not just about the hardware, it's about how AI orchestrates the whole user experience.
Okay, so it's not just about, hey, look, my car can park itself.
Right, it's more like, my car knows how I like to drive where I usually go, and it anticipates my needs before I even know I have them.
That's pretty wild.
It's about creating a seamless, personalized experience.
Okay, I'm with you so far. But where does this urban integration piece fit into all of this? What makes Hyundai's approach different when it comes to smart cities?
Well, a lot of smart city initiatives are still very fragmented.
How so?
You have different companies working on traffic management, parking solutions, public transit systems.
Right.
But they're not really talking to each other.
So it's like everyone's trying to build their own little walled garden within the city?
Exactly, and that creates a lot of inefficiencies.
Yeah, for sure.
Hyundai is proposing a much more collaborative approach,
Okay, I like where this is going.
working with city planners and infrastructure providers to create a truly integrated ecosystem.
So it's a much bigger picture kind of thinking?
Right. They see the car not as a separate entity, but as an integral part of the city's fabric.
That's a pretty bold vision, but it also raises a lot of questions. For example, how do we ensure data privacy in a world where our cars are constantly collecting information about us?
That's a crucial issue. Absolutely. We need to make sure that people's data is protected and used responsibly.
For sure, for sure. And what about things like equity and access? I mean, will these advancements benefit everyone equally, or will they mainly serve those who can afford the latest technology?
That's another important consideration. We need to make sure that these advancements don't create new divides or exacerbate existing ones.
It's like with any new technology, there are always trade-offs and unintended consequences.
Exactly, and it's important to have these conversations now so that we can shape the future of transportation in a way that benefits everyone.
Well said. Now, as we've been talking about all of this, it's made me wonder, if cars become so personalized and integrated into our daily routines, could they actually start to reflect our values and beliefs?
That's an interesting thought.
Like, would our cars become like statements about who we are, almost like fashion or art?
That's a really fascinating idea. I hadn't considered that angle before. But you're right, as vehicles become more than just machines, they could become canvases for self-expression.
Yeah, imagine cars that reflect your personality, your interests, your style.
It could be a whole new form of personal branding.
And what about the emotional connection? I mean, if we're spending so much time in these highly personalized vehicles, will we start to develop deeper relationships with them?
That's a good question. I mean, there's already a lot of research on the emotional bonds people form with their cars.
Yeah, people name their cars.
Exactly. And imagine how much stronger those bonds could become with the level of personalization Hyundai is envisioning.
Will our cars become more like companions than just modes of transport?
It's certainly possible.
It's mind-blowing, really. We're not just talking about a change in transportation. We're talking about a potential shift in our relationship with technology and even with ourselves.
It's a really exciting time to be thinking about these things.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. So to wrap things up, it seems like Hyundai is betting big on a future where transportation is adaptable, personalized, and seamlessly integrated into our urban environments.
And it's a future that has the potential to be incredibly exciting, but also incredibly complex.
Absolutely. As with any major technological shift, There are some big questions to consider about privacy, equity, and the potential impact on our lives and relationships.
Exactly, and those are questions that we all need to be thinking about as we move forward.
Well said. This deep dive into Hyundai's vision has been incredibly insightful. But as always, there's much more to explore. And that brings us to our final thought for today. We've spent this deep dive exploring Hyundai's ambitious plans for the future of transportation. And it's clear they're not just making cars.
It's a whole new way of life.
And it really begs the question,
Yeah.
if transportation becomes truly adaptable, personalized, and seamlessly integrated with our cities, how would that change your relationship with getting around
Right.
with technology?
Absolutely.
And even with your city itself?
It's a big question.
Would you embrace a car that learns your every preference? Or would that feel a bit too big brother?
Yeah, it's a fine line.
Would you welcome the efficiency of a city that basically anticipates your every transportation need?
Some people might find that a little unnerving.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
And these are questions that don't have easy answers.
No, they don't.
And they're only going to become more important as these technologies develop and become more widespread.
We need to start thinking about these things now.
Exactly. So keep those questions in mind as you see these advancements unfold.
Right.
Hyundai has given us a really exciting glimpse into a possible future, but it's up to all of us to decide what that future will actually look like.
We have a role to play.
Absolutely. Well, this deep dive into Hyundai's vision has been incredibly insightful.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
But as always, there's so much more to explore and so much more to discuss.
Always.
So we want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the future of transportation.
Yes. Thank you.
I hope this has given you some food for thought and maybe even sparked some interesting conversations of your own.
Keep those conversations going.
Absolutely. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.